What's up, guys? Connor O'Reilly here, part of Team Latitude 64 and OTB Discs, and today coming at y'all with the practice round from the beautiful Max Starcke Disc Golf Park in Seguin, Texas. Sitting on the wait list for a tournament coming up here in next weekend, and figured I'd come give it a throw with my new Latitude setup, dial in my ranges. Starting here on hole 1. It's a nice par 3, 350 feet. You got the straight option that I've been walking down the whole way. Tee pad here. I elected to swing it wide of that tree with the hyzer, playing the stiletto shot. A little bit about Starcke. It's a nice little public park. It's on an old pecan orchard, so pretty open for the most part. A lot of high canopies with these old pecan growth trees. And the name of the game out here is really dialing in your distances, dialing in your angles, making lots of putts and grabbing lots of birdies. So hole 1, we just started off right there as a par 3, coming in at 353 feet. It had a straight option. I elected to go hyzer with my stiletto on the outside, skip it back in. Started off with a nice 2, short little putt. All right, hole 2 is a par 4, playing just under 500 feet. They're calling it 499 feet. You got an option just straight ahead of you, but the ceiling's pretty low. Now I'm looking for a 2 look here, so I'm gonna pop a roller down, see if we can't get it to push up on the left side and curl in on the left side of the green. You've got water and some thick stuff all the way on the right, so you really want to avoid going right. I'm going to make sure if I miss my angle on this roller that I try to cut it out left. All right, that one curled up pretty nicely. Probably got a long bit at it too. That roller was pretty ideal. Maybe a little more cut, maybe a slightly more stable disc, and I could have got a circle 1 look, but right here in the 70, 75 foot range. Let's give it a 2 bid. Gotta get it up and get it in. Well, that's what I like about the roller here. I was able to give it a safe bid for a 2, stress-free 3. We'll take that any day. All right, hole 3 is a par 3 coming in at 332 feet. Really the only danger to here is some low canopy in a couple spots. There's this one branch down on the right side, kind of right where you want to start swinging the disc back left. That tends to be one of the trouble spots. I'm going to grab my compass, straight mid-range, put it on some hyzer, try to let it just push gently on that hyzer angle. Oh, that one gave it a scare. I thought that one was going in, but should have a good putt. And from the looks of it, it faded maybe a couple feet in front of the basket, just low. A little more juice on that, it had a chance, but good thing about throwing the mid-range, control the ground play, make sure to control the distance as well. That's what Starcke's all about. All right, hole 4, we got another par 3 coming in at 280 feet. The only really trick to this one is just throwing a straight shot. You don't want to turn it over, you don't want to fade out too much. There's one little cluster of trees just in front of the basket, slightly on the left side, that you want to avoid, so putting one just on the right side of the basket here and letting it gently fade in is going to be your play. I'm going to go with my tournament shield. Should be another tap-in. One of the things I love about the design here at Starcke is it's not too constricting. It kind of allows you to throw what's your comfortable shot on most spots, but it really just puts a onus on being able to execute your angle and being able to control your distance so that you have a birdie look on every hole, because really out here you got to get a lot of birdies if you want to get a win. Four down through four. Not a bad start, we'll take it. I wouldn't be mad at that eagle on two though, let's be real. Alright, hole 5 is another par 3. It's coming in at 310 feet. It pretty much fits the same shape as the last hole. So I'm going to throw the same disc, that shield again, hit it a little harder, we got an extra 30 feet to fly here. There we go, missed my height. That crosswind took it over. Gonna have to make a putt. Bad tee shot, tough looking Annie putt, didn't get it to stick. On hole 5, I missed my nose angle and my hyzer angle was a little too heavy, so that crosswind pushed me over, left me with a tough putt. Didn't capitalize there. Every missed birdie out here is a lost stroke to the field and you're playing open, so. On to the next one though, hole 6. It's a par 3, 277 feet. This middle gap used to be a lot more accessible. Now there's a low branch kind of hanging in there, so I'm going to throw a justice so I can keep my ceiling tight and still get it to finish left, because you need a little bit of finish left here. The grass looks like it's going to be pretty sticky, so can't rely on too much ground play on this one. Yeah, the last hole I got probably 40 feet of slide. This one, harder shot, but probably only got 12 feet of slide. You can just tell that lush grass was ready to grab it. All right, we got 5 of the first 6. That's not a bad pace. It's kind of right on pace for where I'd like to be, because on a course like this, you're playing an open and you want to get a win, you really got to be right around that 15 of 18 range to realistically make sure that you're in there in contention. Hole 7, one of my favorite holes on the course. It's a nice straight shape, as a lot of these are, but it has a little nuance to it. It's playing at 363 feet, but it's slightly downhill, so I think it's throwing more in the 340 range. I'm going to elect for my compass here. I really just want to make sure I'm throwing something that's going to carry that straight line for me. I've got a slight wind from the right to the left, so I'm going to make sure I put a little hyzer angle on it. Don't let it get pushed over by that wind. Try to just push it flat for as long as I can. Slide up to the pin. That one's hung. Not enough spin. Great shape though. That should be an easy tap in. All right, now we're on to hole 8, another par 3. This one's one of the shortest holes on the course, but it's also got some trickiness to it. You're throwing flat off this hilltop here. You can see the tree straight ahead of me, the big pecan tree there. The basket's just about 35 feet past that, and it's right here off this slope of this hill. So the trick to this one, I'm gonna throw a sidearm, try to check just above the basket on top of the hill, let it trickle down a little bit. This one causes a lot of rollaways if you're trying to come in with the hyzer angle, or if you miss your height, then it's easy to carry all the way down the hill and have a tough look at the basket. And I've seen people 3-4 putt on this one because as soon as you hit metal, it's sloped enough to where you're at risk of a rollaway. So we're gonna try to put it close and not have to worry about that. Soft harp, stick it on the high side. That one hit just in front. I'm guessing it probably trickled down to the right side, but hopefully it didn't roll too far. That baseline plastic probably helped me out, kept me within 20, I'd say. Miss. That means we gotta go on a little run here. Alright, missed about a 30-footer there. Looking back at it from this angle, it's probably around a 30-foot range, just inside the circle. That leaves me at 6 down through 8. Still not a bad pace. Hole 9. 628 feet, it plays up this hill and then finishes a little bit off to the right. They call it a par 5. It's really just a par 4 especially for the pro field, but also for most more advanced fields. Maybe for beginners it could be a par 5, but we're going to call it a par 4. We're going to try to get a good birdie look. Throwing my beat up Ballista Pro off the tee. Try to push it as far as I can, just get it to ride a straight line for me. Got to give a quick shout out to my buddy Ezra Adderhold. This hole reminds me of him because this hole, when we played it, it was the first time I realized, like, oh dang, this is the first time I played with someone who throws farther than me. It's a tough pill to swallow, guys, let me tell you. So I didn't quite get the nose up as much as I wanted there. Luckily I still had enough height though to clear the hill. Got some pretty good distance where I'm up here on the flat. I have good footing. It's ideal though if you can push your disc a little farther left on this hole, because then you get out of these little trees and you have nothing between you and the basket. But these trees are small enough. I've still got a pretty simple little chip hyzer. Try to give it a little bit. Should be an easy birdie, or eagle if you want, but we're not going to take that. Another one of the details to notice about this course is all these baskets are probably about 4 to 6 inches lower than I think the typical basket they're used to seeing. So for a taller guy like me, I really got to make sure I'm down and I'm in those chains and making sure my nose angle's right. As you can see, my kneecap's almost at the top of the cave, so that's not really normal, I'd say. But it's like that on a lot of the baskets out here, something to keep in mind. All right, here we are on hole 10. We're on the start of the back 9. Good front 9. We got 7 of the 9 on a solid pace. Let's see how many we can pick up on the back. Par 3, 314 feet. This one's a pretty dead straight shape. It drops down the hill though at the end, so you really got to make sure you're throwing a disc that's probably a little straighter than you typically throw on this type of shape, because as that hill drops away, you want your disc to keep carrying forward, not falling left. I'm going to throw my medium shield. It's been beat up pretty good, so I know if I throw it on a touch of hyzer, you'll want to push forward on that hyzer before it gently finishes. That'll work. All right, hole 11's another par 3 coming at 357 feet. It's another one of my favorite shapes on the course. This one has that slight downhill at the end. It's a straight shot that bends a little bit to the left. I think it suits that mid-range well again for me, because as soon as it starts dropping down the hill, it's going to continue to carry forward as well as to the left. I'm going to put it out over these small trees on the right side, give it about 10-12 feet of height, give it some hyzer, good healthy 80% spin, try to put it close. So instead of 10 to 12 feet, I gave it about 24 feet, and because of that, I'm a little more left than I wanted, but it should be a putt. All right, so poor nose angle, leaked me off to the left, but good thing I threw a mid-range and put some good spin on it, so at least it forgave me for the most part. I'm left with about a 40-footer. Let's try to capitalize. Here we go. It's important on Starcke Park that you're ready to hit some circle 2 putts. Or those times where your drives leak off, you got to capitalize. All right, here we are, hole 12. Another one of these par 3s. This one's got a slight slope downhill off the tee box, and then it flattens out. The basket's in the middle of this little cluster of 6 pecan. It's a kind of little row of pecan trees. You can take either shot you want here. I'm going to elect the sidearm. Just a little more open on that side. I'm going to throw it at the tree that starts and frames up the green on the left side, and just try to fade right in front of it. I'm going with my opto recoil. See if we can't get a little look. Oh my gosh. I yanked that one. Wow. Two straight circle 2 looks, getting a little sloppy off the tee. Time to clean it up. All right, well, we had another circle 2 look. That's 2 in a row. Like I said, that's a little sloppy off the tee. You definitely want to get yourself close on these par 3s and make sure you're giving yourself a good chance to make a putt. But 9 down through 12, just got to make sure to get the rest of them. We're at another one of those par 5s that I think is a par 4. Hole 13's 623 feet, tailor-made for the roller. It's got low ceiling everywhere. There's not really a good way to get some distance with the air shot. I'm going to lay a roller down right at this tree on the left side, try to cut it right in front. Going with my pink hatchet, by the way, Optoplastic. If you haven't tried the hatchet for a roller, I suggest you do. They do great things. Caught a down branch. It's still gonna have good distance, but I got robbed. This course, with it being in an old pecan orchard, that is one of the things about being out here. There's lots of limbs that fall, so sometimes it can be tricky. There's a couple holes where the roller is really good, but you can get unfortunate with some down limbs at times. Also, if you're out here and it's a windstorm, you got to be careful because pecans are self-pruning, and as soon as a branch starts struggling, they'll cut off the resources to it, and it'll be really prone to cracking off and falling. I've seen lots of big limbs come down out here, ones that could definitely seriously injure you. So if you're ever out here in the wind, be careful. You might feel safe next to the trees, but listen, look up. You might be in danger. One of the great things about the roller, that one wasn't the best. It hit a limb on the ground, but even with the low ceiling, I was able to push it out at least 450 feet or so, leave myself only about 175 feet into the pin. Should be an easy little chip with the soft tarp. That'll put. All right, hole 14, par 3, 260. You got the sidearm and backhand option. I'm going to take my shield with the gentle hyzer on the right side.
Stop doing that now.
So on a course full of must-gets, that last one, 14, really feels like one of the must-gets. Got a good look there, easy two. Hole 15, they're calling a par 4 at 432 feet. It is a difficult shape. I still think it's kind of a par 3, at least for the pro fields. The trick about this one is the gap that you need to throw the backhand hyzer for the righty. It has some low branches that really stop you, so unless you throw really a laser flip up, it's hard to get a look at the pin, and you got to have a lot of spin. It opens up a little bit for the sidearm flex shot, so I'm going to be opting for that. Got my nose turned down a little bit on that sidearm flex shot there, but luckily the stability of the disc brought it back before it got to the ground, so I was able to catch edge on that ground, get a good skip forward. We're left with another one of those 40 footers. Let's try to stick it in there. So as I step up to 16, which is another one of those par 3s in the 370 foot range, I realize the theme of mine is I really like the holes out here where I get to stretch out a mid-range, push it to its limits, get it to finish gentle and straight for me. 371, this one straight ahead of you. The ceiling comes down, so you can't get it too high, but you got a lot of room to work with. I'm gonna hit a little bit of hyzer on this compass and really try to send it. Well, I made the one mistake I said you can't make on this one. Leaked my nose up, caught the canopy, left myself with about 140 feet. Now, typically you'd say, oh, you know, that was a fine upshot, but I was trying to run that into the basket, so slightly disappointing. I went with my flippy keystone there just to try to give it a little play catch with the basket action. Didn't work. Pretty disappointing par there on 16. I think that keeps me at 12 down, I believe. Still not a bad score. Got 2 left to try to score. Hole 17, they're calling a par 4. This one, almost believable. Especially when you have a limb hanging in the ideal flight path. So in this case, it's kind of going to play like a par 4. 450 feet. You've got kind of a wide hyzer on the right side. A lot of guys will take. That's pretty safe. It's going to at least ensure an easy 3 for you. If you want to look at that too, though, you really got to push it up the middle. Right now, there's a limb hanging right where that shot wants to be. So, I'm going to have to just miss that limb to the inside. See if we can execute. Hit the line I wanted, just missed my height. And that's the name of the game out here. Hit your line, hit your height. You miss one of the two, no luck for you. Alright, hit the line well. Height wasn't more than 3 feet off the ground though, so I never had a chance to fly too far. Got about 160 feet into the pin. I'm gonna grab my flippy putter, the keystone, try to put a little pushing hyzer on it, play catch with the basket. And the last time I did this on the last hole, I missed to the right side. Try to make an adjustment. Or just put it in the same spot, you know, naturally. Tap in for, I don't know guys, what do you think? Are we calling that one a par 3 or a par 4? Because that'll dictate what my score was on that one. Do I move to 13 down? Or am I staying at a measly 12? I'm going to let y'all vote on that one in the comments. Let me know what you think. Alright, here we are, final hole, Starcke Park. I really recommend this park to anybody because it's suitable from everyone from a pro to someone who's just learning to play the game. There's not too much rough on the course. You're not going to have to spend too much time looking for your discs. It's always enjoyable being out here in the pecan grove. You get the shade, nice breeze. 18 is 243 feet. It sets up nice for a little putter sidearm, so I'm going to be throwing the harp here. That was trash. As you can see, I was not very pleased with that tee shot. Flipped my wrist over on the sidearm, turned it a little too straight, left myself with like a 45 footer, but luckily I'd already had a couple putts from that range, so I was feeling pretty confident, pretty comfortable in that range. Hope you guys enjoy. Looking forward to bringing you more practice rounds from some of our local Central Texas courses around the area. Comment below, let me know if there's any course that you'd like to see me attack and break down, and let you know how I'd like to play it.